Hey y'all, it's Jennifer with Between Sessions. Today we're going to look at how childhood emotional neglect shapes your attachment style. A quick look at why relationships can feel harder than they should. Why do relationships feel so hard? Are you overthinking everything? Is anxiety present when you feel someone is pulling away from you? Do you feel like you shut down when things start to get close, when you start to feel a sense of commitment from someone? You feel like your childhood was generally fine, but sometimes these issues are really looking at what didn't happen instead of what did happen, because there's not a big overt trauma that took place. It's more subtle, and that is called emotional neglect. Typically, emotions are not fully seen or supported by family members, and this is likely for your primary caregivers, such as your mom or your dad. There can be a lack of emotional connection and warmth, and your needs may be overlooked and go unnoticed at times, or generally most of the time. It cannot always be obvious. So like I said earlier, there may not be a major overt trauma that occurred. You could have very loving parents, but emotions were dismissed or ignored. And with that, we've learned that our feelings don't matter, I shouldn't need too much, and closeness isn't always safe. So in adulthood and relationships, it shows up in ways that the beliefs of these they don't disappear. They follow us, and they show up in our relationships as attachment styles. These are patterns of how we connect, trust, and relate to others. So you may have heard of these attachment styles, the first one being an anxious attachment. And in this, we have a fear of abandonment. This is typically followed with a lot of overthinking, need for reassurance, and that can become taxing in an emotional relationship, committed relationship, because you stay anxious and your partner is providing a lot of reassurance because of that fear of abandonment. A second attachment style is avoidant attachment, and there can be a lot of discomfort with closeness and a lot of emotional distance between two people, where it feels like having a sense of independence is a protective mechanism. And this can be damaging in certain ways that prevent us from getting close with someone in a healthy way. And then kind of a combination of the two is disorganized attachment. And this is where maybe you want connection, but you also fear it. So there's this push-pull pattern that occurs, and that can be very confusing to partners or even friends, and ultimately lead to a difficulty in connecting with others. So the important truth here is that these patterns are not your personality. They truly are adaptations. So you've learned to survive and get your needs met by behaving in these ways. So there's nothing wrong with you, but your nervous system adapted in the best way that it could. But we want to know that healing is possible. What is learned in relationships can be healed in relationships, and that's the key part. Whether it is in a therapeutic setting with a therapist, you can learn to have safe attachment, and it's going to be different than in a personal relationship, but it's still a space where you can start to learn to safely trust. And then of course want to move forward into relationships with partners or friends, even potentially family members, if it's safe to do so. So healing really does occur in healthy relationships. So I would encourage you, if you want to start small, bring your awareness to your behavior and maybe to the past with your family of origin. Have a lot of self-compassion, because these are difficult targets here. These are really difficult concepts as well, to go out of your comfort zone and what's made you safe. Breaking out of that requires a lot of courage. So having safe connection is also a really good way to start with someone that you trust. And know that you're not alone. Many people experience this, and healing starts with understanding. So if you like this content about emotional neglect and attachment, please subscribe for more. And I hope you take good care. Be well.